Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly, what is this, game master? Storyteller? I don't know. Master of the Lost? I don't know.
Master?
Today we are playing, cult leader.
Yeah.
Today we are returning to a favorite of ours on the channel. We don't play it that much, and that would be Kult, Divinity Lost. I think it's published by Helmgast, and then distributed by Modiphius as well. This is the most recent edition of the Swedish, classic horror role-playing game. And with me today are the stars of the Kult. I did give a name to this game now as well, to our interstitial game here, Those Left Behind. So the stars of Kult, Those Left Behind. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today? First up, we've got Sean.
Hey, I'm Sean. I am playing Samuel Joseph, formerly known as Sam Jaspers. He is a 35, but looks to be in his 50s, unshaven, unkempt. And a little bit gives a feeling of being a little bit lost most of the time. And he had an experience. He's a former FBI agent and had an experience on a case, disappeared inexplicably, and turned up in another part of the world inexplicably, and is now basically his life is pretty much everything's affected by that.
Yeah.
So that is and he for whatever reason inexplicably has changed his name. Just for no particular reason. For no particular reason no one knows.
Yeah. And out of a point of interest, the city where he reappeared was Sarajevo. And with us as well is Mo.
Hi, I'm Morris. I'm playing Mike Anderson, who is an FBI special agent. But one of those iconoclasts who wears chinos sometimes instead of actual dress trousers, as they'd say it. He actually
Mo, can I ask you to please move your mic just a little bit away from your mouth there? We're getting a lot of pop. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, pop, pop, pop.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, this gets a bit squashed.
Oh, of course, yeah.
When I lie on it at night. Yeah, so he's an FBI special agent.
Maybe, you know what, Mo, move it up away from your mouth just a little bit. There you go. Okay, try again.
Okay.
Brilliant. Yeah, good.
Hang on. Sorry, apologies for the coughing.
Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Right, yeah, so he's an FBI special agent. He's possibly more of a specialist than the frontline, but he also knew Samuel when he was Samuel Jaspers, and found something really wonky about the way the time slip happened, like he lost. And he also knows Samuel's, was it niece?
Not his niece, goddaughter.
His goddaughter, yeah.
You only met her last session.
So yeah. So he's an FBI special agent.
Yeah. So the one weird thing that you noticed, I was listening to the play portion of last session earlier today, and the thing that you noticed was that there was, shortly before his disappearance, Samuel had a open reduction and internal fixation on one of his legs. He had a plate put in to keep two broken bones together so they'd heal properly. And what you found on the x-ray that was taken after he reappeared is that there was the hardware had failed, and the nature of the failure was that it could only have happened through extended use, through vigorous activity, and through we're talking years of hard activity that would have led to this particular failure. And that was one of your contacts, Dr. Cooper, who pointed that out to you. But with his reappearance and the disappearance of his partner, no one was really interested in hearing about some weird thing with his leg. And I think that we said last time that you haven't bothered to bring that to Samuel's attention either. So, last session, do you guys remember what happened?
I believe. Let's see. I think the first thing that had is I think there were. I seem to recall 2 scenes, and the first scene, I believe, was with Mike Anderson, with the daughter of my partner, my disappeared partner, going into the FBI office with a package.
Yes, she arrived with a like butcher's paper wrapped package that was apparently addressed to Samuel, and she was trying to find him, had no luck with the bureaucracy, so showed up at the Detroit office, and Mike was sent down to kind of deal with her, and then while he was successful in kind of getting it from her, she didn't seem to know where it was coming from. She had no way of contacting him. Mike had no way of contacting him. So he just accepted the package, but then he was intercepted by Special Agent Valentino, a rival of Samuel's, and someone who has seen promotion since Samuel has kind of fallen off his life has gone off the rails. And that's where we left that scene, and then we had, I believe, one more before we called it a session.
What happened at the end of that scene? I remember there was something where was Anderson going to grab the package back?
We talked about the mechanics of it, of him possibly trying to do that by using a move, but he decided to try and take an alternate route to try and get access to that.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah. And then we cut to former Special Agent Joseph, or Samuel. What happened in Samuel's scene?
Wandering in his neighborhood towards a bus stop, I seem to recall. I think I was wandering down the street in my usual happenstance, different colored socks and unshaven, and looks like he's not quite sure where he's going, whether that's true or not. And he was having to fight off, I believe. He was having to deal with a entity, I'm a little hazy, but entity trying to interfere with him, I believe.
You were going to visit Madame Yoseveski.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Okay, that helped. That just opened a drawer I couldn't find in my brain. There we go. Yes. So okay, I got it now. Yes. So she was one of my main contacts. She is a strange. Everyone else thinks more so than he does. He used to think she was a strange hack of a selling snake oil of the mystic variety. Crystal ball variety, and so, but now since his experience and he's back, he is inexorably drawn to her and feels that she knows much, and she seems to inexplicably understand this. Even though we never knew each other, he just walked by her. Her she's like the only, I think, store open in her building in this depressed part of Detroit.
Yep.
And he would walk by rolling his eyes before, like, it'll be the end of us. Great. That's the only place that's open. Perfect. It's sarcastically. Yeah. And now, completely different. He views her as very knowledgeable. Somehow he thinks she knows about his situation, and she acts that way. And she doesn't really, I believe that we determined that she doesn't really hide the fact that, yes, I do know things, and
most definitely,
but it's just kind of left right there, ish. And and maybe we determined possibly that she might use me. I don't, we hadn't gone very far, but she might use me because I am susceptible to being possessed. And
yes, that you guys had sort of bonded over that, I believe.
Yes. So that she gets a little, I get a little because I think she knows things, and I'm desperate to know things to some extent, and she gets things because I may be a conduit, for her purposes.
Yeah. I was checking the levels on the music here. Each of these music tracks plays at different levels. So, All right. So one thing we didn't do last time before we started playing was set your dramatic hooks. So we're going to count this as our first session. So each of you guys will be selecting 2 dramatic hooks. The reason these are important is because when they are fulfilled, you get to mark a point of experience from it. So,
is this on a particular page? That we could,
I'm on page 136 of the core rulebook.
Okay.
A dramatic hook is a player request for their character to take a certain action during the story. During each game session, each player should have 2 dramatic hooks for their character. At the beginning of the first session, the player gets to choose 2 dramatic hooks on their own. In later sessions, the PC receives dramatic hooks from the other players and the GM. At the end of the session, when she's fulfilled a dramatic hook, she asks the other players to think of a new one. So, when the players think of dramatic hooks, they may use the following verbs for inspiration and then finish the sentence with something appropriate. And the example they give is you should, and then these are the examples: finish, reveal, tell, visit, complete, confront, investigate, or develop. And examples they give are: you should visit the place where you were kidnapped, where the kidnapper took you. You should reveal your infidelity to your wife. The PC has fulfilled the dramatic hook regardless of what transpired in that scene, as long as the character executed the verb. Don't dictate what the outcome of the scene should be when determining a dramatic hook. That should be discovered in play. So you guys should have 2 dramatic hooks for today's session.
Interesting.
To be finish, reveal, tell, visit, complete, confront, investigate, or develop.
The only question I have is the time frame. That might be a little tricky. So, because if this is for the session, I'm not really sure what necessarily he'll accomplish.
Yeah, these are, so there are some games that give you long-term goals, short-term goals kind of stuff. Yeah. This is definitely short-term goal. At least the way I read this is it's intended to be like an example might be, Samuel, you should visit Jenny, this session.
Gotcha.
That might be
one that jumped to mind was reveal what, let's see, what's her name? Madam
Yozoveski?
To reveal what Yozoveski knows, but that probably, it sounds like too much.
Well, it's also not something you can do.
Right, I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's things that you want your character. This is you kind of like pre-scripting what you would like to see happen in a session. Or what you intend to do.
I'm on my way to her place, right?
Yeah.
That was the idea. I think,
like maybe investigate. Madam Yozoveski?
Yeah, there you go. I think investigate.
Because we don't right now. We don't know anything about her in the story, right? Like we know the broad strokes of who this kind of fortune teller is, but we don't know really much about her yet. So
investigate what she knows.
Yeah. I mean, that's sufficient for me. So you should investigate Madam Yozoveski, and then what do you want is the other one, the one with Jenny? You should visit Jenny?
Yeah. That sounds good.
Okay. How about you, Mo? You got 2 for Mike?
He has been trying to contact Samuel, so obviously visit Samuel.
Okay.
I think also he wants to investigate what was in that box that my colleague sort of squirreled away.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. So should investigate Yozoveski and visit Jenny. Okay, cool. All right. Then I think we left our session with you walking into Madame Yozoveski. You passed there was a mix of kind of like low-income folks who were sitting in the kind of waiting area from a variety of different cultural backgrounds, and you saw the door opens and there's a really well-dressed man followed by someone wearing mirror shades and a big dark-colored suit who walks out, and a limo pulls up and drives them away. And what do we think Madame Yozoveski looks like? We'll pick up with that. And why don't you tell us what she looks like, then I'll tell you what she does next. Hey, Steve.
I think she looks cliche-ish. I think she looks stereotypical. I think her hair, she's older. She has these dramatic gray streaks in her hair that are kind of profound, because it's not like she's graying. I mean, she is graying, but they're like, did she dye that? Like, it's a little too much.
Okay.
Like, come on now.
How old do you think she is?
So I would say it's one of those where you have no idea. Like, if she's 8, she can't possibly be 90, right? But what if she is 90? But no, she's probably like, she acts like a she acts like a fairly, not physically, but intellectually as an active 60-year-old. But if she's 90, you'd hate to bet against it. Like, it's, who knows?
Yeah.
But like the streaks in her hair, those have to be fake, right? Because no one's hair comes in like that. Like these really rigid gray something or other. And then she's got these layers and layers of clothing that you would think, that you would find on someone in a traveling, trailer, drawn by horses or something. Kind of a.
All right, so then the guy goes out and there's a smell of like incense or something that from her her sanctum from out back. There is a young woman and a couple of young men who are kind of loitering around who seem to be from her ethnicity as well too. Some undefined relation. You never really learned or asked what was going on with them. But I think when we left you, there was a pressing kind of. You'd had a strange occurrence, right? Didn't we have you because you went into a place of supernatural area? We rolled on your disadvantage.
Oh, yeah, on the way over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something happened, and I'm a little bit hazy, but it was.
Well, let's do this. Let's get some dice rolling here.
Okay.
Why don't you, as you're going in, and you're a little bit, you can feel a little like your head is pounding. Because this place always, sometimes it's relieving to be leaving from here, but sometimes it is hard getting here because of the it's like white noise. If you ask Madame Yozeveski, she would tell you that it's the spirits. But you just think like, I don't know if it's the sign or whatever it is. There's just something that is difficult. I'd like you to give us a keep it together move, please.
Okay. Let's see here. And I'm just reacquainting myself with the character
That'll be under
sheet.
willpower.
All right. Let's see. Willpower. I'm a +2. There we go. Oh, I see. Yeah, I knew it. Okay. I can roll it right here. I'd kind of forgotten.
Yeah, I think it's just you click it right on and it'll tell us what level of success you get.
All right.
I'll show you, sheets are great now.
They are.
Full-on success.
Look at that.
Fucking beautiful. So you go in, you're maybe a little bit green around the gills, as you go in, but you're holding things together. And she stops, and as the rich person and his bodyguard leave, she sort of stops and, and catches herself on the sort of on the like the desk or whatever that's at the entrance to her thing, and everyone in the waiting area all is kind of like is trying to figure out what happens. And she says, "The spirits speak to me, you," and she gestures at you. "You've come. Inside, the spirits cannot wait."
And he's sort of holding his stomach because it's churning, and he nods furtively and follows her in.
Okay, she goes in, and she staggers back, and she says, "I will return for all who wait for me soon." And the door closes, and you hear a crack as it locks. And the interior of her place, I imagine, is just, it's a mishmash. It's like a set designer's, wet dream of like the ancient curios and like, books in languages that we don't understand and really well faded. There's things pickled in jars in different places. There's crystals and whatnot. You've gone through this before, and you think that if there's a big like red or black velvet painting with the whatever it is, the Western Tarot on it. It's the kind of thing that you would, if you were trying to fulfill a experience with a fortune teller, this is precisely what it would be. But you hear a from behind you. You look over and you can see she's lighting a cigarette, a menthol cigarette, of course. And she says, "Oh, sorry, Sam. If you want to get you in first, I hear no end of it if I don't do this. Sit down. You want a drink? It's been a long morning."
Samuel has a deja vu from before his experience, and barely prevents rolling his eyes from his old oh, that's right, this kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then drink. That sounds good. And has a seat.
Sure. This is the first time I'm meeting this person, would you like to make a move to read her as well?
Yeah. That sounds good.
Get some questions ready for me in your back pocket.
Oh yes.
Nice success as well, too. Free and clear.
Strong.
Pretty good at this game. All right, so you got 2 questions. Questions include, are you lying? How do you feel right now? What are you about to do? What do you wish I would do? How could I get you to whatever? So you can keep those in your back pocket and just ask me out of character when you choose to. Okay. What do you think she gets Sam as a drink?
Something herbal. Something relatively unrecognizable. She puts in some ridiculousness so that it seems very exotic.
Yeah.
And
okay.
And I can you don't really like it, but you drink it because you're supposed to.
Is that avocado? Isn't that?
Something. Something you're just you'd never do this on your own, but you're here.
Yeah. Okay, so she passes it over to you. It probably tastes or smells like a combination of ouzo and vodka.
Right.
So it's got that sickly, licorice, smell to it, but that burning of vodka underneath as well. And she salute.
Salute. Yes.
Now. It's funny you came. I knew you would come. She takes a drag on her cigarette. And in spite of her dropping the whole, fortune teller facade, she's still talking to you kind of the same way. And in the world that you now occupy, you know that she's not bullshitting.
Mm-hmm.
What brought you here?
Well, do you have another one of those?
Yes. And she reaches into her blouse and pulls out the pack, kind of taps it, and then holds out the cigarette for you.
It steadies me a bit, and he takes one.
Okay.
And menthol. Okay, sure.
She points at the drink. That'll work better.
Okay. And he works on both, and takes a moment. Long pregnant pause.
She leans in and almost like she planned it. She lights the lighter, which makes a flame a little bit larger than necessary, so it casts that kind of horror movie, down lighting or up lighting on her.
And he deja vu's again briefly, and kind of shakes his head. And I need to. I don't know. I progress. The word doesn't seem to even apply to me anymore, but I need to know. And he looks at her like she would know what he means. She would know, what he means.
I've had a pain in the ass spirit speaking to me for a week now. Something that wants to come through.
Come through me.
Kind of cocks an eye, takes another drag of her cigarette. I think so.
Why?
Who can say? There is only one who can give you answer. And she kind of gestures around at the slowly, accumulating haze of menthol smoke that is filling the room.
Samuel looks around a little confused. Oh? What? Who?
Here. If they wish to bring message, 2 ways we can go. And she picks up a Ouija board. And places it down. And she picks up a pen, like an old, kind of feather tip, or what do you call it? The one
quill.
Pen. Not a quill necessarily. A
fountain pen.
Fountain pen. Thank you. A fountain pen, and it looks quite old. And a couple sheets of paper. Auto rating or Ouija.
He looks at both, like he's looking at 2 medical instruments that he's never, he looked. I guess the Ouija is. I guess the Ouija.
Let's start slow. And she pushes the paper forward, holds up the pen. You know how to use this, yes?
A pen? Sure. And grabs the pen from her.
And so you grab it, you kind of like try and hold it, as if you were going to be writing. And she says, no. The world that we go to, we need the sinister. And she takes it out of your right hand, brings it over to your left hand, and then kind of works your hand in as if you're going to write with that. I'm assuming your character is right hand dominant, but
sure.
Then she places the paper in front of you. She takes the cigarette out of your finger, kind of stubs the one that she was smoking, then starts smoking yours. Moves the glass aside, and she says, "Wait." And there's a couple more things she does where, like, she'll dim the lights a bit. She'll start burning some incense in here, and it feels, it feels weird to have the pen in your perspective, your wrong hand. But she places down a piece of kind of like yellowed paper in front of you too. Lord knows how long this paper's been sitting around down there too. But the pen itself seems quite old. Once she finishes kind of setting the mood and then lighting a candle in the center of the table, she sits down and lays her hands out, and she looks at you. Are you ready? And you're sitting around a small table in the center of the room. There's a heavy kind of knit tablecloth that's on top of it as well too. It has different designs kind of on it, but otherwise there's no sound anywhere.
He takes a breath and then slowly reaches over and takes his cigarette out of her mouth and takes a big, deep puff, gives it back to her and says, "Ready as I'll ever be."
Good. Then, and she closes her eyes and then kind of opens one to make sure you're closing your eyes as well. Close them, Sam.
He wasn't, and then he does.
Close them, Sam. All right. Now, would you kindly give us a see through the illusion move? For those listening at home, normally it's the players who will be prompting, but I'm kind of fast and loose with who's driving what. Once we get in the swing of things, and we'll be going more.
Yeah. So I should just roll 2d10 for this, right? Because it's not on the sheet.
It should be your soul.
Soul.
Soul, is it one that right at the bottom?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
you're
this
right,
character is
right.
kind of set up like a
I just hadn't scrolled down.
Kabbalistic.
Yeah. It's there. Let's see. Oh, okay.
All right. So, so I think you close your eyes. What's the last thing you remember about the approach to that house in suburban Detroit before you disappeared?
My house?
No. So where we saw you guys, and
where I disappeared,
Peters,
right?
Went into some house. Both of you disappeared. Special Agent Valentino had no idea what happened to you guys, and then the next day you appeared in Sarajevo.
Is it possible? Let's see. What did you? Is it possible that it's something in this? It's something that either resembles or maybe exactly is like what's in the current room. So what's in this current room?
There is in the room that you are in right now. Let's do this. So we'll set you up as approaching the house. So it's wintertime, as like it is today. Mm-hmm. There's a yard full of, what looks like child's toys that are buried in half melted snow, but look like they've been there for probably at least 2 years, 3 years or more. There's dead grass, but it clearly was grown well over. And building on what you suggested, maybe there, as you're making your way through, you can see, you recognize one of those like creepy Victorian dolls that was sitting on, Madame Yoseveski's wall, and you can see it kind of half buried in the snow, and you're like, what? But your attention is quickly up to the door again because you need to get yourself into this room. And what we're approaching is this is a row of like bungalows, and very old, dilapidated bungalows. we can see like a little further down the street, it's much of the same, these very old, dilapidated, poorly maintained buildings, but you can see that there is, a dog howling off in someone's yard. You can also see a domed, the kind of like onion dome topping of a Orthodox church, suggesting that, we may be in a, at least what was at one time, a Ukrainian or Polish or something neighborhood. Oh no, Polish is quite Catholic, aren't they? It'd be Ukrainian. So as you are making your way up towards this step too, you can hear, on your headset, "I'm going in the front, Sam." And it is Special Agent Peters.
Roger that.
How do you feel right now?
Just a moment of confusion, and then I give in, probably like I wouldn't have 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I just accept it, and I kind of snap into this world with my eyes on that doll, and having seen it coming in this room, and then
approaching the house. It's in the yard.
Oh, it's in the yard. That's what I mean. I mean in this room I'm in now.
Oh, they're in now. Okay, got it. Yep.
And then I see it in my mind. And all of a sudden I'm there, in that yard.
Okay.
And then I hear that crackle, which now I'm all the way in. I'm just like, oh, Peters. I'm thinking, I'm in. I'm right there.
So you are actually free to act right now, if you'd like. So what are you're at the back of this dilapidated house. There's a little like back porch that leads up to a screen door that has a small enclosed kind of back patio. Peters is coming in the front. You're coming in the back.
Looking for windows. I start looking for windows to get a peek.
So you're looking around and you see down, and I was disquieting. You think that there's something. The windows in the basement are both like partially covered in frost, but also covered in grime and whatnot. And it looks like maybe there's like yellowed newspaper that's been put up on them as well too. But there is a small tear in them, and you think you catch the glint of an eye of someone looking out. You don't remember that, but someone was watching you from the basement.
And from perspective, is this so? I didn't know that in the moment at that time.
This is different from your memories. You seem to be in this place right now, and you're able to actually move around.
I see. And I say, Peters, watch yourself. There could be someone in there.
Silence.
Peters?
No response.
God damn it.
Is this how that happened? Or was it different?
And I'm probably like, sort of like my scene in my mind is sort of shaky because it's, is it present? Is it there? Am I there? Is it present? And then I, I'm kind of back in a back, meaning in the, in that scene in the backyard. And I just stick my eye where that hole is. I'm just going to look right. I'm going to try to look right in.
Okay, so you get over there and race, across the snow. There's probably like half a foot of snow that you're kind of chomping through. It's a little melted and it's slippery in parts. But you get over, you drop to your knees, and you're trying to like clean the window off and look in. And it is infuriatingly opaque. So you just can't seem to see. You hear a yap from a dog. Somewhere down to the right. There's no one in the street here. Is that how it was? Wait. And you turn around. And the back here is like, it's an alleyway, so there are those like chain link fences that are in kind of backyards, all kind of identical, cheap things that you can just, an easy way to get a fence up to keep like a dog or a pet or something in. It's a series of those things. It looks kind of like, a scene from like The Road or something, but in real, people still live here. They're, old cars that are half buried. The irony of people in the Motor City driving old broken down vehicles is certainly not lost on you. And there's another alleyway that leads down, big, tall. The only thing really kind of marking the passage along here, apart from the small little like driving pads that people will stop on and the chain link fences that make up these endless series of dilapidated backyards, are the telephone poles. And you can see standing in the alley that is perpendicular to where you are, there is a single figure. And the thing that draws your attention is like, this person is wearing some kind of like stained khaki clothing, maybe a uniform, and it looks like they're not quite jodhpurs, but they look sort of like that. And they have a weird hat on. And you're looking at them, and it's not a hat, it's a helmet. You first thought it was a cowboy hat, but it's, the big...
Like the old British kind.
Like an old World War I era doughboy's, helmet. Wait, he's armed. And he's bringing the rifle around. Why aren't you moving, Sam?
My hand goes to my belt, like where the gun would be. I try to get my hand to my belt, like in a panic.
Yeah. Let's have you roll an avoid harm. See if you can get there fast enough. Ooh. Avoid the worst of it, but I decide if you end up in a bad spot, if you lose something, or you partially sustain harm.
I'll also bring up for going forward here, I do have an advantage called Daredevil.
Yep.
Whenever Samuel enters a dangerous situation, roll perception. So plus perception. So I'll just throw that in there for the future.
Okay, roll plus perception. What's your perception?
My perception.
Would that bump you up to 5?
It's a +2.
So 13 is still the same.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, but no, that's good to know though.
Yeah.
I think you go for the gun at the same time, and you can hear the whip crack of a rifle going off at a distance, and then you hit the ground hard, and you're staring up at the darkened ceiling with the dimmed lighting in Madame Yozeveski's chamber, and you can see like somehow this fountain pen has fallen under you, and the ink is spreading out from the side as if it was a bleeding wound. You sort of grab yourself.
Yeah, I try to sit up, staring at it.
Okay. You look over, and like this robe of yours, unfortunately, is going to be stained now, but Jesus, like you could feel the bullet going into you, but you're not hurt. There's no injury.
So my fingers, go under my clothing, and I'm feeling around, and
you're getting more of this ink all over yourself.
Yeah.
And you can see the pen itself is broken in such a way so that like the nib is off, the other thing is broken, and part of it sort of rolls around as Madame Yozeveski goes around, looking to your eyes almost like a spent casing.
And he's rubbing between his fingers the ink.
Sam.
He looks at her, confused.
She looks concerned.
I was shot.
What do you mean you shot?
I was there. I was there that day. I was there. Just now. I was there.
What?
I had a, and he looks at her, a vision. I had a vision. Or something.
Good. You reached a spirit. What was it?
I don't know. I was there that day, but I don't know. It almost seemed like it wasn't. I'm not sure what I saw is what I remember.
What day?
So right now, when I was there that day, It was my last case. I was there on scene, on location, with my partner. We were getting ready to enter a house, and he very well probably did. And what I saw in my vision, I don't think that matches with what I remember happened that day.
What happened?
Strange. Well, just now I was approaching the back of the house this bungalow we were going to go in, and this time I saw what I think was an eye watching me out of a small hole in a basement window. I don't think I saw that day, but I saw it this time.
What was there?
It was an eyeball. It was someone watching me. I called out to my partner, and I got no answer. Bad sign, by the way. And I hurl myself at that window to see in, to try to see who was watching me, but I couldn't see through. It was too dirty, too something, too dark inside.
Well,
too whatever.
They did not want you to see.
And then suddenly something seems wrong. And the hair on the back of my neck stood up, and I looked around. I looked around that dilapidated neighborhood, and I saw someone. Only one person. There was one person down this alley, and they were dressed oddly, and they had an old helmet on, like an old army helmet from
What?
From like World War I or something. And next thing I know, I saw that they had a rifle, and they were bringing it up, and I go for my gun. The rifle comes up, and I hit the ground like I'm shot. And next thing you know, I look down at my wound, and it's not blood, it's ink. And I'm back in your room, and the pen has penetrated my arm. You're sorry about the pen, by the way. But your pen has gone into my arm like the bullet went into my arm.
The pen has waited here these many years for this purpose. She has stood up to her full height now, and she. Actually, you have some banked questions if you want, as well too.
Yes.
Under read a person, and here are the I've got those handouts for you guys as well with the cult moves on them.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Although I think, are they on the character sheet as well? Did we discover that last time, or
no? I don't think so.
no? Okay.
Unless I'm pretty sure they're not.
No, not okay.
No. Yep. I look at her. No. I say. I get two questions, right? Ultimately.
Two questions. Yeah.
Yep. I say to her, what? He looks confused at her.
So these questions are things you can ask me out of character.
Okay.
You can feel free to roleplay it as well too, but just so you understand, like this is your opportunity to metagame that part.
Yeah.
And learn more stuff beyond just what we're going to roleplay through.
Yep. Well, so I do. I look at her and I say, I shake my head, and I'm still rubbing the ink between my fingers, and then my eyes go to that the pen cartridge that looks like a rifle cartridge, and they rifle back to her, and I say, what do you wish I would do?
So there's two answers in fiction.
Yeah.
She will answer, of course, I don't, says, it's not for me to say. Take what you have learned. But out of character, what does she wish you to do? She seems like she wanted you to get whatever information you were going to get through this. She seems satisfied with that. She wants you to respond, I guess, to what you learned. And because she, one thing you were doing automatic writing as well too. You haven't actually looked at the paper yet,
right? And that's probably as she says that, and I'm going to be irritated. Like, okay, seriously, you know, like, he's looking for answers, not for look. That's the $10 variety of your idiots. That
Well, I
come
think
in here.
because you guys know each other so well too, what she probably does is when you kind of get that look, she says, "You want certainty? Go to what would be a certain thing? Buy a clock."
Yeah, right.
These are the spirits. They don't speak in plain and straightforward. You know this, Sam. You just don't like it. And she pours a little more of her ouzo vodka cocktail.
And he nods mainly at the drink pouring and takes the cigarette out of her mouth again and decides to keep it and is puffing
so you
on
get
it.
up and grab it from her. She then passes you as well a drink. She's poured one for each of you.
And he puts it down in a gulp, and then puts the cigarette firmly back in his mouth. And
if you look over the page, you have written something.
And he's surprised. So he didn't expect it. He didn't look for it because he didn't write it. Oh wait, he did. And so he's like, "What?" And he he doesn't know how I got there. So he's like, "Look at you." He studies it.
Okay, so you get over there, and the handwriting is definitely not your handwriting. It's not as scratchy as you would have expected. There are some like hesitant lines where you can see where you started. There's a big blob where like you clearly let the pen rest for too long. But then there are clearly words that are written in a script that you don't recognize. Very florid, very, fanciful and precise as well too. Someone who seems likely used to writing with one of these pens. There's only a handful of, it's not even a handful. There are 2 words and 2 numbers on there. The first word on one line is Jenny. The word beneath that, next to the 2 numbers, is June, and then the numbers 2 and 8.
Jenny, June, 2 and 8. And sorry, tell me again their composition. Are there groupings?
Jenny is on top.
Yep.
And then beneath that is the word June and 2, 8.
I see.
That is all in one line as well.
What?
And then there is actually something else. It looks like scrawl. And maybe it's just your imagination, but when you're falling, it appears as if you have made out 2 letters as well. J and P.
And those are at the bottom, below the rest?
And then the P is sort of like, you clearly jerked yourself back as you're going, because there's a sharp, line as if you were pulled away. Madam Yoseveski looks down and says, mean anything to you?
Well, Jenny is the name of the daughter of my partner that was there that day.
And she taps the June 28th.
And he looks at her. So do I, was that the day?
She shakes her head. She's Americans. They teach you nothing in school?
And he looks at her. He gives her another one of those looks like, get to it. Would you get to it? Like impatience.
Yeah. June 28th. 1914? Mean nothing to you?
Help me. What? It was World War I?
The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand by Gavrilo Princip.
What's that have to do with me?
You are a credit to your American education system.
He rolls his eyes. He can't help it any longer.
Where do you think he was shot?
And so where was I? I was shot in the arm, right?
No. Where do you think the Archduke was shot? Sarajevo.
Oh.
She takes a drag of her cigarette. What would you do without me, Sam?
He's just confused. He's like, what does this have to do with me?
Leave your money. I have other guests.
And he shakes his head and, all right.
So you turn, she says, take your paper. You wrote it.
He grabs the paper and he fishes some money out of a pocket in his robe.
Okay.
Crumpled.
So, yeah, you place it down, and it's the precise amount that I think that you know that she requires. It's probably odd bills, and rather than like a clean, like,
right.
Whatever.
Yeah. It's
price.
crumpled up.
Yeah.
There might be a little ink on it at this point too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And you turn, and the door opens, and oh man, it's bright out. And then once again, Madame Yozveski drops back into character. You do have one more question you can ask me before we leave this scene, if you'd like.
Yeah. How could I get her to tell me more? It's like I think Sam, whether right or wrong, is convinced that she knows more than she's saying. Like, she loves this mystic. I mean, it's not unreasonable that she doesn't know everything. Okay, I get that. But she knows more than this. Like, she loves this mystic.
Well, you're for sure. You can see as you're leaving with the light in now too, you get a clear view of that creepy Victorian, knitted doll. There are a ton of water stains on that thing, as if it had been sitting out for a season or two in the snow, in the melting snow.
So, he's just convinced that she knows more than she's saying. So how do I get her to crack? Like, how do I get her to give me the goods, to just sit there and, this is what I know?
I think, so from her, if you're able to bring her more, something more that would give you a connection, something that would help her with the spiritual connection. That's what you can get, how she can help you learn more. She's not lying. Like, I'm not sure what impulse drove you to come here, but maybe it's just the unsettled feeling, it's sort of the spiritual equivalent of like, my neck feels a bit tight, I should go to my chiropractor, but instead you just sort of had that feeling like, I know she wants to see me, rather than waiting for that feeling to come back, you could maybe be proactive and try and find something that would prompt more from her, rather than just waiting to get that feeling and then going and learning something.
So like a physical item, perhaps.
Possibly, yeah. Or even other things like in her world, names might have power as well too, so who knows? I'm not sure how much of a deep dive into the occult that Sam has taken thus far. It sounds like really not. He's just trying to, keep his head above water right now.
Yeah, I mean, anything, he might know something, but it was probably more happenstance than him researching or something.
Got it. Reruns of the X-Files.
Right. Or maybe a book, that he just comes across, rather than, he didn't go to the library or anything. He just, he just happened to find,
so you know what? Let's build on that. Then why don't we say that there's a book that you found, maybe you're going to the library to take advantage of the free internet or something like that, right? And you found a book that was left there that you brought back with you, and that book you've tried reading a couple of times, it just made no sense to you, but now thinking like, all right, she knows more than what I do. Let's fall back on my old skills, track down what I can do, and there is that goddamn book in my house. Question is, where did I leave it?
It's under the wrapper. It's under the taco wrapper.
Yeah. All right, so we'll leave your scene with you departing and
wandering out of the store. Ink still kind of drying
and slowly kind of making your way across the empty, snow-filled streets through that empty
I think I'm
parking
holding
lot.
that sheet out because I know if I do something with it, it'll end up crumpled and like mustard on it or something. So
nice.
I'm trying to hold it out to keep it pristine.
All right. So then let's cut scenes to Special Agent Anderson. So special agent, I'm picturing we're back in your office again too. You got your headphones on. You're working on getting some processing some stuff. Your supervisor, kind of Andy Newsom pops in, and kind of like taps you on the shoulder. Mike, I'm going for the night. Do you need anything else?
I look at the time. What actually is the time?
It's probably about like 5:30.
No, I'm good. I assume I'm not on the late shift here.
No, you're working. I think you're working late.
All right. No, I've got a bit more to do. Yeah, I had that package that so-and-so's goddaughter dropped in. I just need to...
Well, no, remember, that was taken.
No, I'm just going to check that it's been logged in properly into the evidence system.
Okay, so let's do
But no,
this.
I'm good. So I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, so why don't you give us an investigate move?
Yeah, so I'm going to investigate has my nemesis actually logged it properly in.
I understand what your question is going to be, but you need to make your move because that'll determine whether you're able to track that information down or not.
So investigate is reason, so I've got 3 points in that.
Yeah, so let's click on that.
I'm going to... Sorry. And I have analyst as an advantage. So there we are.
And what does that do?
The PDF and everything is on my home computer, not on my works one.
Okay, so hold on. Then Mo, maybe just ask us what it does beforehand, because just saying you've got analyst without knowing what it does nothing for us. So that's a reason one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Whenever you investigate something, you may also choose from these additional questions. Which organizations, groups, or peoples of interest may be connected to this? Is there a connection between this and another event? And what could a plausible motive be? I'll repeat those once you make your roll as well. So in addition to the ones you'll see under investigate, which I think is... No, wrong one. Cult moves number 1. So here we go. You got these questions. How can I find more about what I'm investigating? What's my gut feeling about what I'm investigating? Is there anything weird about what I'm investigating? In addition to that, you've got those other moves. But let's make a roll for you and see how that goes. And you can...
Okay, so is there any modifier?
No modifiers. All right, so failure. Let's see here. May get some information anyway, but you pay a price for it. You expose yourself to dangers and costs. The GM makes a move. All right, love it. So, you go searching in, and in answer to your initial question, no, there's no record of that ever being identified. There's nothing in there that seems, and you maybe try spelling it a couple different ways, trying to track it down, and there's nothing that shows up. So what do you make of that, Mo?
Right, so you make -9, so make us some information.
Sorry, Mo, were you listening at all to what we were talking about? Mo? Were you listening at all to what I just said?
Yeah, how can I find out more?
Well, okay, Mo, hold on. I need you to listen to what we're talking about here, bud. This is the game really involves a lot of conversation, so I can't have you looking at something and not listening to what we're talking about. What I told you is that you can't find any information on this. You found no information of it ever being registered. You enter the name a couple of different ways to try and find it, and it doesn't. Nothing seems to show up. And I am going to take a move right now, but it will be something that will not be obvious just yet.
Okay. Well, maybe it's not done it yet, but okay. So I'm going to
You take a look at the clock. No, for sure. That was earlier in the morning that it was he was here. It's got to be like 7 hours since since that thing was turned in. If he was going to turn it in, surely he would have, So what do you make of that? And more importantly, what do you do with that? If he hasn't logged it in, what I can tell you is that is definitely inappropriate. If it was something that would have been part of an ongoing investigation, like the disappearance of a special agent, that for sure would have been something that would have been flagged.
But this isn't an active investigation, is it?
It hasn't been closed. It's only been a little more than a year, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, in that case, he's going to grab a coffee, and then he's going to start writing up. I'm not sure what the term would be in UK speak. It would be a grievance, but he's going to effectively follow that up by the system, saying, by the system, something doesn't need to be logged. Check.
Can you please move your mic up just a bit again, too? Sorry, thank you. I know you're in. Yeah, you're dealing with join us with a less than ideal setup too. So I don't want to make it feel like I'm picking on you too much here. Okay, so what is it you're trying to achieve with that grievance? Because are you contacting your?
I'm effectively formally raising the fact this seems to be missed. This is in the guise of I'm sure there must be a reason. Just wanted to check this is actually being properly logged. Okay. So I will raise that to the system, CC my boss, and see what that shakes out.
Okay. So you do so, and is there anything else you do? You were supposed to meet up with Amber at some point tonight.
I'll check the time, and I think I will, assuming that all the work's done, he's going to log off.
Okay.
Pull out his service weapon from the gun safe or wherever he keeps it during the day. Stick it in there and log out the system and go and meet Amber.
Okay. So you head down to your vehicle, which I'm guessing is some kind of like hatchback or small sedan or something.
Yeah, small, maybe second-hand, but still okay. Four-wheel drive.
Yep. So you start it up. The parking lot feels particularly empty at this point. You leave the complex. You key your key card to exit the security thing, and it's weird. It takes you like 3 tries to get it to register. That never does that before. That's weird. So it registers, the gate goes up, you drive out, and you're heading home. Tell me where you keep your cell phone while this is going on.
He'd probably put it he'd have a holder in the vehicle for that sort of thing.
Okay. So you have like a cup holder?
Yeah, one of the ones that's stuck in like the aircon grill, so he just slots it in there.
Okay, yep. Okay, so you put it there, and you can see there is a call that's coming in as you're driving along.
Okay.
You just spare a look over. Oh, do you want to see who's on the phone, on the call first? Or?
Yeah, do I recognize the number?
You do. Actually, I'm assuming you've got some kind of like display thing, and it's Jennifer Peters.
All right. Okay. Okay, I'll stick her on voice.
Okay. Hello, and her voice seems to be her voice cuts in almost as soon as the call picks up, and she says, "Agent Anderson, Agent Anderson." And there's a tenseness to her voice. I think there's someone who's been watching my house. There's someone outside.
Oh, can you describe him?
I'm not, I can see them on the second floor of my house. I'm looking out on the street and I can see them. And they're just staying there. They're sitting in a vehicle. They've been here for 3 hours now.
Can you see the registration?
I can't from here. No.
Okay.
Can you do something?
Where are you actually living?
She gives you the address. It's probably about
how far is it away
maybe about
from
20
me?
minutes now. Before you're able to carry on with any more conversation, your vehicle is suddenly slammed into from behind. And I need you to give us a avoid harm check. Now, let me quickly... This will be 2 harm that you'd be suffering.
Okay.
So go ahead and give us a avoid harm roll here.
Okay. Any modifier on that?
No modifiers.
Okay.
Ooh, success with complication. So you avoid the worst of it, but the GM decides if you end up in a bad space or you partially sustain harm. I think you're hit from behind and your head kind of slams up against the back of your back of the seat rest, and you're sort of beginning to lose control right now, and you're about to spin out. You can mark 1 harm on your character sheet, which I think is on page 2.
Yeah. Stability gain.
So just under serious wounds, write down head injury. Excellent. All right, so you hit, and you can feel the vehicle is beginning to sort of, fishtail, and you're about to lose control of the vehicle. What do you do next?
So it's in winter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I will put my driving in cold weather and the 4-wheel drive nature of the vehicle to rest,
So
and I'll
hold
try
on,
and
let's just distinguish this game, just because I know you haven't played many of these more story-focused games. What we talk about is that you want to frame what you're doing. It's good to be describing what you're doing, but what's more important is to think about what the move is. Like, how are you affecting the story as we're going here? A suggestion I might have is acting under pressure. You're trying to get this vehicle back under control, right?
Yeah, I'm just basically trying to stop the tank slapper. To act under pressure, do I get a negative?
I don't understand that reference. What's tank slapper?
It's where you get the... It's where you swing out and... so basically controlling a skid.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with that. That's okay. It's probably a British colloquialism.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's, I don't even know I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, cool. Fishtail is what we call it.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
So
then
act under pressure.
Yeah.
And any modifiers? Do I get a
what
combined
other
injury?
Since we let me hear, let's quickly do this, Mo. Your other, you got mole and burglar is under coolness. Let's just quickly see what that actually does, so that you can take advantage of it. I don't think mole applies on this one. Mole is charisma, and I've got that open right now, so let me just quickly tell you what that does. Moles, you have placed a number of moles in groups or organizations of interest to you. Whenever you make contact with one of your moles to acquire info or services, explain what group or organization that it belongs to, and then roll charisma, and then you get, it'll tell you whether you've got someone in there. All right, honey. And burglar, whenever you make use of your expertise in breaking and entering, roll coolness, and then you get options like neutralizing an alarm. So, trick someone into believing you belong here. So it's little cool ways that you get to sort of subvert the defenses of a place. So it doesn't sound like any of those apply. So why don't you go ahead and give us a coolness check, acting under pressure. Nice. All right, so you're sort of, your vehicle, you managed to get it back under control, but you can picture like in the this is winter, so it's dark by the time you're leaving. In the relatively empty streets, there you can hear the roar of the engine behind you, and it's got big headlights over, so this has got to be like a Land Rover, or not a Land Rover, a Expedition, or one of those big black SUV type things. So you're almost blinded from the what do you call it? So the lighting. What do you want to do?
Well, I'm trying to I'll stopped on the side of the road, waiting to exchange insurance details. What happens then? Does he just blast past?
Well, if you start slowing down, I need you to avoid harm again as it slams into the back of you again. So you need to avoid harm for 2.
They are pitting me off.
Success. Okay, so once again, I think you hit your right elbow this time. So put another injury down for right elbow. And actually, it's not automatically tracking your wound penalty, so you actually should be getting a -2 now to all your rolls. I don't know why it's not tracking them.
I don't think that's automatic. I was just noticing that I'm.
Do I need to tick the box?
No, that's when you're
stable.
that's when you stop. If it's stabilized, you've stopped the penalty until it heals. So it should be minus. We'll just have to remember to add in the penalty.
Okay.
Because you were saying, Sean, yours wasn't adding properly either.
Yeah, I don't know that it's automated. I have my stability never gets higher than distressed because of a disadvantage, and so I did roll a keep it together, and I always have a -1 to that, and it's not automatic, so I have to remember to add that in from now on.
Okay, interesting. Yep. So Redcap says that tank slapper is a term more commonly used in North America for motorcycle skid rather than a car. In a car, you'd have a fishtail. That's cool. I don't have a motorcycle license, so that's interesting.
It is interesting.
All right. So then you success with complications. So yeah, this does not seem to be an accident. This person seems to be intentionally trying to get you off the road.
Okay, I'll speed up then.
Okay.
And actually, can I use my mole aspect and call up police dispatcher?
So remember, what moles does is it determines whether you've got someone in the organization.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's take a look at these two things, Mo. These are the moves that we use to frame sort of the changes in the story. Like, you're not the way you think of what's happening in these, unless you're specifically avoiding harm or something like that, you're thinking of how the scene changes next, whether to your character's benefit or to your character's detriment, and whether it's to their benefit or detriment comes by way of our dice roll. Yeah, by our, I mean yours. I don't roll dice in this game.
Yeah, I think observe a situation then.
Okay, sure, yeah. So why don't you give us... Yeah,
observe a situation, which is perception.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this is at...
-2.
And modifier -2.
Yes, please. There we go. Oh, shit. Okay, so you get to ask me one question, but you get no bonus for it, and you miss something. So your question is, what's the best way through it? What currently poses the biggest threat? What can I use to my advantage? What should I be on the lookout for? What's being hidden from me? What seems strange about this? But you're trying to... What's your question that you want to ask me?
What's the best way through this? How can I
get the hell away from these guys?
Yeah, okay.
Their intent seems clear that they're trying to get you off the road. I think I'm going to need another avoid harm from you, because they're once again ram and slamming up into you. Of interest, there's no guns being fired. This is just, just brute force with a big vehicle. Oh, shit. Okay. All right. Now, hold on. I think that means a more severe check here. Let's see. So avoid harm. So you get the full amount of harm. And harm is sort of an abstracted thing in this, where we... it also dictates sort of how you're going to recover. I think what happens is that you actually lose control of your vehicle. And it sort of spins around, in the way that... can be kind of scary in this weather, and it slams into a parked car and causes you to clark your head up against the side. So put down under, let's see here. I'm trying to remember the distinction between serious injury and a light injury. Let me take. Oh, there's no
serious wound and critical wound. Perhaps.
Yeah. Oh, so I think you still got enough for 2 more serious wounds. Why don't you take off 2? And we'll just put them in as the same thing here. Put down bleeding forehead. Oh, let's put them separately. We'll put bleeding forehead and injured shoulder. Let's say. So you got a bit of everything as your car comes slamming to a halt. But fortunately, with your vehicle slamming up against a stop, this thing roars past you and then quickly takes a left turn and heads off. This is just like a feeder street towards a pedestrian kind of, or not pedestrian, a suburban neighborhood. So you get out, you got your bleeding forehead. I just need you to put down injured shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
As well, okay. You are pretty messed up right now, and you can hear still coming through on the speakers of the like the audio system in the car. You can hear Miss Peters' voice. Sir, Agent Anderson? Agent Anderson?
Hi, sorry. Some arsehole just rear-ended me.
Are you going to do something, or should I call the police? You're a little woozy right now.
Check. Can I quickly check whether the car is still drivable?
It's not, no.
I think you better call it in. My car's not drivable.
What do you mean?
I'll try and get a cab over.
Okay. So you get out of your vehicle. Yeah, this is... Oh, and there's people on the street who are starting to kind of come over towards you. They're asking if you need to have the police called or if you need to have an ambulance called. But you're looking around,
no.
Like, it's sort of surreal that, like, what the hell just happened?
Am I still slightly concussed?
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, what I would want to do is pull out my badge and saying, right, did anyone get the make and model and card?
Okay.
And plate number?
So, all right, so let's give us a investigate check at -4 because of your injuries. Let's see here. So investigate would be under reason.
Yeah.
Okay. Says you get information anyway, but you pay the price for it. I think you get out of the vehicle, you get your badge out, you're like, all right, FBI, who saw anything? Who saw that? Who? And you sort of like, oh boy, your head feels really light. And the first guy walks up to you, is like, hey man, you should really sit down. And you're like, no, did you get the... Oh, and you stumble and sort of fall into his arms. Your badge falls down into the some of the snow, and the last feeling, the last sensation you have before you lose consciousness in this scene is Ms. Peters saying, Special Agent Anderson, Agent Anderson. And we will cut for our mid-session break now, guys. And then we will return. So for those listening at home, we will be back momentarily to continue our tale in the broken world. So back momentarily.
5 minutes?
5 minutes, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let's see here. Okay. So, guys, I think we'll transition now back to Samuel. Samuel, where would we be picking up? Where would our next scene find you, you think? You might be muted, Sean.
Yep, I am indeed. I think that. So I think he got home and promptly went to sleep on the couch. Happened off scene, and he gets up, and his eyes alight on something. Is it possible that maybe that in the past, so he'd have something from Jenny And is it possible that she wrote him a letter at some point in the past?
Yeah, let's say you wake up and you're on your, trash-filled, secondhand couch.
Yep.
You didn't even bother. You took the trip out to see Matty Miozoveski, and the experience you had there took so much out of you that you just flopped onto the sofa and you passed out. You can tell it's already dark outside too. So you have to kind of like fumble around. You turn a lamp on and you can see sitting on the trash-strewn coffee table, sitting atop everything is that automatic writing that you had from before. And maybe you look back and there's a mantle over a non-functioning, like a bricked-off fireplace. And on there's a picture. It's one of the few, and you tell me if this is inappropriate, but one of the few things you still have that you keep with you is a framed photo of Joseph and Jenny, probably from years ago. And you can see that there is sticking out from underneath there's an envelope. That would be that letter that you just spoke of.
And I see it, and then I look, and then my eyes kind of unfocus, and then they refocus, and I'm looking at the table in front of me, and it says Jenny, on the auto write.
Yeah.
And I think blissfully unaware of the time or what's going on, I get up and I'm going to Jenny's.
Okay.
Like I'm going to go see her.
So you get up. Are you taking that note with you, or are you leaving it behind?
I think I get up and I look at it, and I'm thinking about it just like I'm thinking about it right now. And how much did we determine how much that me and Jenny have communicated about my disappearance? What did we decide, if anything?
I think she doesn't. We know that she doesn't have current contact information for you, and I think we determined that she doesn't blame you for his disappearance.
Okay.
Though you may blame yourself for that. She I think, still thinks of you as like Uncle Sam or whatever.
Yep. I think Samuel feels a pang of guilt suddenly about that he's not accessible to her, and he picks up the letter and looks at it, and he's debating on whether it's too much. Like, he wants to tell her, but he knows what it's going to sound like. There's enough of him that's, he's kind of partly this dilapidated man that exists in this that he feels like he knows more than everyone else, true or not. And yet at the same time, he knows he'll sound like a crazy man again, and he hates for Jenny to think badly of him, and so he's like, and he wants to tell her, and he determines it's too much, and he puts it back on the coffee table, and then rushes out of his place.
So as soon as you stand up, you realize, oh Jesus, like fuck that. Oh, I haven't gone to the washroom since I drank all that liquor. So you head in there, you flick your light on. There's that like flickering, and then the hum that comes from old fluorescent, and you can see yourself in the mirror. What do we see?
Worse than usual. He doesn't really care, but so the fact that he notices, tells him like, oh, we've crossed a line of, because it's no longer just unkempt. It's like, you look like you just woke up in an alley, and like he's got big circles, and he's got these weird marks on his face, and he looks closely thinking, oh God, what happened to me? Like, this is part of that vision. And then he realizes, oh no, that's just part of the couch, because he's has his face pressed in it for 3 hours or something.
There's that weird crease you get from old couches with patterns or whatever on them. So
he takes a sigh because he thought, oh no, and then, oh, never mind. That's just and there's just ink, and he's like, oh, this is such a pain in the ass. And he thinks, I've got to go wash this off.
And you sort of, just because it feels tender to the touch, you move your shirt aside, and like there's a little discoloration, like a bruise almost, from where you could feel that bullet hit you in that vision, but like there's no bullet hole.
and he wonders, he tries to make sense of it. There's, he's split between two worlds in a sense, and he like, oh, it's that bullet hole, and then he thinks, wait, what? And then he thinks, it must have been the pen. That pen. I must have, I don't know, and he rubs it, and then he also notices like the ink. He's just, I've got to, okay, I can't.
Oh yes, and he a little bit on your face as well too. You're in that like midpoint. It's not quite a beard. It's not quite stubble. It's just this mess on your face too.
And he's like, very well, and he's resigned to having to do something about it, as much as it seems like a waste of time. And he looks around the bathroom. Is there a towel in here that doesn't smell? And this kind of a
takes 3 tries, but you do get one.
and he throws the rest out the instead of actually taking it somewhere, he throws the other towels out of the bathroom.
Yeah,
like he's taking care of it. Like that does it. That's okay. Good. I've straightened. And then he the one he found, he carefully not lets it touch anything, and he puts it on the the towel rack and looks at the shower and like, and he am I gonna have to take an ice cold shower again? And he tries to get some hot water.
Yeah, you get hot water for all of about 3 minutes before, so you're either coming out with like hair kind of matted together because of shampoo that didn't wash out proper, or you're just freezing from getting out. But you get yourself, what do you think you wear to go and see Jenny? I guess the other thing is, would you shave? Like, are you making the effort to go?
I think he thinks, some part of him says that, and then he thinks, let's not get crazy, and looks for, and now he takes another deep sigh, like the ridiculous really non-inconvenience of trying to find something clean. He's like, oh God, this kind of thing. And he's going through piles, he's kind of like looking. So
your eyes kind of look over. The only thing that is hanging still in your closet, I think still has like a dry cleaning bag on it, is your old suit.
And he looks at it, and I think he has a moment of reverie and shrugs. He takes one last look at a pile, knowing there's nothing in there that doesn't smell or stink or have some ketchup on it, and so or probably hot sauce at this point. And so he is fine, and he goes and he grabs the suit.
I love the idea of this like freshly clean suit, freshly clean and pressed suit with whatever like grab bag shoes you're wearing, the fucking growth and stuff. You probably don't really pay attention so much to your tie as well too, so it's probably like the knots all off center, and the shirt's not done up all the way.
And probably a little bit of, like he's trying to be conscientious like a 9-year-old would, but it doesn't turn out, because he'd like it to be like 10 years ago. He's just not like that anymore.
You tell me too, I mean, I can also see how that shit would be muscle memory, right? Like, if I think too hard about tying a tie, I'll fucking forget, and I'll screw up the knot. But if I just let myself do it, I'll tie the same knot every time.
Yeah, I mean, I think he looks better than he's looked for in ages, but let's not confuse that with what he looked like 10 years ago. So, he does his best. Like he in good faith, he tries to straighten himself for Jenny. But if you looked at him, you're like, something's off here, bud. You okay? That's the kind of
So you sort of spare one last look at yourself in the mirror. You try and press things down. You're like, all right. Then you throw that big stained jacket, the winter jacket that you've been wearing on, and head
one
out.
Last look at that letter, but no, too much.
Okay, nice. So we cut our scene to you. It's the street outside of Jenny's house, and what we see is you sort of tromping along. It's a cold night. You can tell because of the way that you've got everything sort of bunched up. You're almost like like an animal trying to pull as much of yourself can together as close as you can, so that you don't, you lose as little heat as possible. And you're making your way along, and I'm picturing are kind of like brownstones, kind of like the. Kind of like not like a gentrified area, but like an area that hasn't quite fallen to pot just yet. Mm-hmm. So, and maybe it is in the process because of like Detropia. There's the resurgence of people who are moving to Detroit for to take part in the revitalization. Mm-hmm. You're making your way along, but even in spite of that, we still see some empty houses. Lights are all off, and you're making your way up towards this. This is the first time probably you've come this way on foot in quite some time, but I mean, like, you pulled up in front of this house. She lives in the house that Joseph used to own. So You get to her block, and you're looking down. Her house is maybe the fourth house down on the left. And it's facing a bunch of houses that look the same. In this darkness, they all sort of look very similar, but you know precisely where you're going. Deep breath, big cloud of exhalation that appears around you. What do you do?
I think I stand out there. I just stand out there looking at it. I'm pleased. I feel like I've accomplished something. So, you know, like you're supposed to do a report, so you get the book out and you feel like that's enough. You didn't really do anything. Yep. And so he's staring at her place going, okay, yep, I'm here. Okay. And he's looking around. He's kind of pleased with himself, and he's near Jenny, and he's happy about that. And he might have stayed out there like for a long time, except he just gets too cold. And all of a sudden he's shivering, like, all right. And he's got to, I'll go. And he goes up the stairs, kind of muttering to himself. And then looks at the door a little too long, just like the same kind of like, he's a little nervous. There's really not a great reason to be nervous, but you know, it is what it is.
And I picture this door as sort of like, you know, there's like a heavier door on the inside that has like a little spyglass in it, and there's like a glass door on the outside, the big kind of thing that, like in the summertime, you could keep just the big door closed, and then you could see who's arriving, a big oval, right? So you're standing there, and I'm picturing you had to step up to get up to this thing as well too, and you're, you know, in your indecisiveness, you can hear the sudden throwing of a lock, shock, and the door throws open, and there is a very agitated-looking Jenny in there. She's like, "Uncle Sam?"
And right before that happened, I was looking at my hands because I was thinking, I didn't bring anything. Oh, what an idiot I am. I couldn't bring anything, like a flower, a bottle, something. And then the door, you know, so that happens. And he looks up kind of startled, like, oh crap, like I can't wait out here any longer. Like I'm in, you know, this is like, you know, it's been forced on me in a sense. And he looks at her and he goes, and then he smiles and he looks, you know, he's got a classic, he can't help it now. He looks like that dog that's lost. And he looks at her with a sympathetic, you know, like, hi, Jenny. Hi.
So she pushes the door open, which kind of knocks you back a little bit, because I picture you standing pretty close to the thing. And then she throws her arms around you, gives you a big hug. And she lets you go. And she just smiles and says, "You look terrible."
He gets emotional immediately, you know, and unapologetically, doesn't even know, doesn't care.
Yeah. She's like, come in, come on.
Oh, you sure?
She says, "Get in here. Hurry."
Okay.
And there's a dog that kind of comes running up to you, too. Like a, let's say it's like a, you think there's some shepherd in there because it's got like long hair, but it's got white in it as well too, so there may be some lab, but it's a bigger dog. Kind of comes up and snuffles up against you. She's had this dog for years,
which Sam loves. I think as much as he's oh, there you go, and he's more uncomfortable.
You're
with
right
humans,
for what you got,
right? And but so he loves the acceptance of animals. So this is a natural, like, you know, they don't ask any questions.
So you're down on like right on all fours, kind of like, you know,
I'm right down in there.
She closes pulls the glass pane door, you know, and then closes the big heavier one, and she looks down at you. We then see outside that what do you call it? The one of the cars parked in the street in pitch blackness too. We see the light of a phone, like a screen, come up, and there is some messages that come up that we don't see, and then we see two doors, and then two more doors open up, and people step out of the thing, and we sort of pan up and see that they are stopped, maybe like a house or a house and a half back from Jenny's house. We cut inside, and she has gotten you some like tea or coffee or whatever that you think would be appropriate. Probably coffee, because you do have that. You never thought to clean the stink of that, you know.
No,
I don't know what you call.
That's a bridge too far.
Ouzo and what do you call it? Ouzo and vodka. I don't know what you would call that, but let's call it a Bratislava bomb.
Yeah,
and that's what you've got on like. So she sits down. She says, "Did like now that you finally got down, the dog is diligently sitting near you." She comes in, and why don't you tell us what Jenny looks like?
Young adult. She is certainly in comparison, together, which is not really so much to ask, but comparatively, like she's wearing something that, she's clean. She's, got her hair pulled back. She looks comfortable and so much more at ease than Samuel. And old friends come by, and maybe he wants to think at least, he thinks she needs a connection with him. He feels fairly confident about it, whatever the truth is, and I think she's eager, and she has, and he sees in her an expectation and an anticipation, almost like he is with Madame Yosefsky.
Yep.
Because I think she knows stuff, Madame Yusevsky, and Jenny thinks I know things that for whatever reason,
sure,
I don't help. I can't. My own problems, are in the way.
So from your seat, like you've been in this house many, many times before, and you can see like there are, because of that, you can see where there's the changes where she has started to make this place her own, but it still very much has the look of like an older couple's house. Her mother, I think, passed away quite some time ago, so she's really been on her own after her father disappeared. But you can still see, like, it's family photos on the, displayed on the pieces of furniture inside the room. It very much feels like Joseph's house, still.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she comes in and she says, was Special Agent Anderson, was Agent Anderson able to get a hold of you?
Special Agent Anderson. No, I have not. I haven't. No.
Well, I spoke to him earlier today. He.
Today.
I got a package. Sam, I if I'd known you were coming, I would have kept it here for you, but I left it with him.
Oh, that's my fault, Jenny. I should. We should. Yeah, we should talk more. That's my fault. My fault.
Well, you're here now, and he puts down. She puts down the coffee in front of you, and she said, "There's a little whiskey in it."
Oh, and he grabs it.
You see your hands are shaking a bit as you grab the coffee. What do you think?
Great, Jenny.
What's she training to be?
What is she?
Yeah.
Maybe a. Like a medical, some kind of like medical assistant.
Okay,
like
that's what I was thinking, because like I'm wondering if she recognizes the DTs, of you, because I think you said that Sam's got a drinking problem, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's not. I think he's very functional, but he doesn't care about being careful. So if he gets whiskey, 8 a.m. perfect, like whatever.
Yeah. So you get the coffee, and it's definitely she's put more than a finger in the thing for you, and then she sits down. She says, "Well, then what did you come for?"
Well, and like this is the part I think that he was kind of in there's reason to be anxious about it, but also he's more anxious than he should be. But this is the part he doesn't want to have to actually do anything. Like he doesn't know what to say, like as usual. So he's like, oh no, here it is. He has to actually like interact, and so he goes, well, to see you, Jenny, you look great. First of all, to see you, you look really great.
That's one of us. Where are you staying now, Uncle Sam?
I'm over on the west side or whatever, wherever I actually am, and I'm over on the I'm near that. I'm near the big carousel. You know, that the children's one. It's between. It's that one that. It's the triangular one. That park that's got the real sharp angles. The triangle. You know where I'm talking about?
She shakes her head. Yeah, and so what did you want to come to see me about? Was it just to check in?
Certainly to check in. He long pause, and he says, I think in a more vulnerable than he ever would have been before. He says, well, I don't know. I don't know if you need to see me, but I certainly needed to see you. And I was thinking of your father, and of course then I was thinking of you. And
so she's kind of leans in and puts her hand on yours. She says, "We don't need to talk about anything, Sam. Have you eaten yet?"
Gratefully. And he tries to think. He's not sure. I don't think so.
She says, "Why don't I finish up? I was about to make dinner anyway. Stay, have dinner. We'll watch a show or something."
I don't want to be any trouble.
She shakes her head as if like to say, "No trouble." And then what do you think the dog's name is?
Interesting question. I think it is probably connected somehow. Although the dog's been around for years.
Yeah.
So, what about, what if her father named the dog like JP or something? Or I don't know. I'm riffing. Let's see.
Would it be named after himself?
Well, after her.
Oh, after her. Yeah, the two of them. Yeah.
You know, like it's so. I mean,
funny story. I actually, my Brent, who we've played with on some of the games before, a friend I've known for years. Parents' name are Bill and Janice. Him and his sister's name are Brent and Jenna. Their dog, when I was a kid, their dog growing up was BJ.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe JP is an initials that the families
Sure. Yeah.
made a big deal of.
Absolutely. So the JP suddenly kind of gets up, looking away from you. The hair on the back of its on his hind kind of stands up. And on the shoulder stands up, and then he races over towards the door and stands about 5 feet away from the door and begins barking. And the look on Jenny's face tells you this is really not like him. You didn't hear barking when he arrived. He's not a dog that... He's not like Anna. It's just
right.
Like, fuck people! He's not the kind of dog to continually bark.
I think that... so I think it triggers in him... he's a complicated man, and he spent many years very different than he currently is.
And no one understands him but his woman?
Right. Well, yeah.
You can't lead in with Shaft lyrics and expect me to not go.
That's fair.
Full Isaac Hayes.
So I think his countenance changes, and he does switch a little bit from the vulnerable, whatever he is, 70-year-old acting dilapidated mess to there's purposeful. So he it's enough that he gets to forget momentarily of what a disaster he is and what in the world he's doing on this planet, and he goes back, and it's purposeful enough that he kind of snaps back to. He gets up, and his face almost totally changes for a moment, he's got something to do, and he says to her with more authority than anyone would think he has. And he says, "Stay here," and he walks over to see what JP's about.
Okay. So we cut outside, and what we see is now, Mike, you are a millennial, so I'm assuming that you are pulling up in an Uber or a Lyft as opposed to a cab. And we see you step out, and we can see that you've got some bandaging on. We see that you had first aid administered to you. So what you can do, Mo, is mark that each of your wounds is stabilized. That means you're not suffering the penalties, but I for those listening at home, like my mastery of Kult rules is not great, and I do remember that the healing rules are non-existent in this apart from stabilizing. So we know that you are stabilized right now, but if you, I believe it's like Conan, where if you get injured again, all of your wounds start being symptomatic again. They've also said, like, you were told at the scene of the collision that you should really go to a hospital and get an MRI done, because you hit your head pretty fucking hard. But it sounds like you were insistent on getting here. Now, as you step out of the car, I think you might be muted, Mo.
Sorry, I was just talking to the nurse about this.
And I've asked you to move your mic just a little bit up as well, too. Perfect, yeah, it's out of breathing room.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So as you pull up, you get out of the car, and what do you think? Like, have you tried Jenny again since you?
Yeah, I'd have probably tried to call Jenny and also the girlfriend on the way over.
Okay. I think something is wrong with your phone. Something went wrong in the collision, so you're not able to make
banged into it, you know. So.
Yeah. So.
Okay. I'll check that I have my gun with me, because obviously I don't want to have that stolen while I was being checked.
So you definitely you've been. It was paramedics who eventually arrived at the scene. So it's been probably about an hour and a half since you were run off the road. There's still a little bit of blood, like dried blood on your clothes as well too. You step out into the cold, and you've finished like the transaction with the driver on your app, and you look up, and what you can see is that there's the numbers on the address that correspond with her address that you got from her, and what you can see standing in the doorway, or rather on the sort of the stairs there, are 4 men, really big men, dressed in dark jackets, like dark kind of bomber jackets. And if you want to know more, I think I'll ask you to observe a situation.
Well, he would have tried to see whether there's any sign of this
Again,
car.
We make so if you pull up, I mean, there's tons of cars parked on the street.
Yeah.
So why don't you give us an observe a situation move?
Yeah. So,
let's see here. If there's anything else you want to do, you were talking about like making use of your moles thing, but I'm not sure what.
Yeah, I'd need to have contact.
Yeah.
I mean, I will have reported the accident.
Well, you met with the DCPD.
With paramedics, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, observe.
Ooh, okay. So then, looking at the observe a situation move, you can ask me one question. What's the best way through this? What currently poses the biggest threat? What can I use to my advantage? What should I be on the lookout for? What's being hidden from me? What seems strange about this? But you also have... I'm just going to check burglar and see if there's anything you can do with that to sort of get your way in. If you do want to try and sneak here. Let me just see. Burglar. So burglar can be used to avoid being discovered by someone, or to trick someone that you belong here. But what question do you want to ask me? You can see those 4 men standing up. It's fairly dark around there, and they're all wearing. They're all Caucasian. All are dressed in dark. What do you call it? Dark. Dark. You want to take a headset off for a second here, Mo?
Yeah, they just want to do more observation, so can we take 5 minutes time out?
Yeah, okay. So let's...
Doesn't the nurse realize we're gaming?
Yeah, seriously. So inside, let's just quickly talk about what Samuel is doing inside.
Yeah.
What is... I mean, I guess the obvious thing, when you walk up towards... Oh, yes, here, let's make a move. Do you have a move in mind?
Let's see here. Yes, I was thinking to. I think it'd be observe a situation, I think.
Okay, go ahead and give us a check.
And let me make sure. It doesn't seem as probably is on the edge, but might not qualify as a dangerous situation yet. Or does it?
I mean, this definitely has you on edge, and the dog is definitely upset about something. JP is definitely upset about something, but it's not immediately evident that there's.
Yep.
And because of the way that door is too, you'd have to get up and kind of look through the peephole to see out. She closed that heavy door, though you're kind of grateful that she did at this point.
Ooh, I see something possibly coming, but I will mention it in a moment, depending how this comes. I'm looking at my character sheet. Okay, so I may have to, my contagious insanity may have to come into play here. Okay, so observe a situation, rolling now.
Let's see.
There we go.
Success with complications. Interesting. Okay.
It's okay. Yeah, it's decent.
Yeah. All right, so you can ask me one question then. What are you thinking?
Okay, I am thinking, let's see.
One thing I missed as well is when you act on the answers, you get +1 to your a roll following up on the question.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Good call. Well, from his standpoint, he is wondering.
You know what I'll say? I'm just going to give you something free, and then you can ask me a question. So what she comes up because she says, "Uncle Sam," and you look over, and she kind of holds up her phone, and it's linked into her like security, like the ring light kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You know, not ring light, but the whatever it's called, the ring security system. Mm-hmm. And you can see there are 4 men standing outside who have that shifty, they're not supposed to be here kind of look on their face. They have all of them have like military short haircuts, and they all look like, they all have that sort of chiseled, ex-military kind of look to them as well.
His first thought is to go out the window. That's what he'd do at home.
Yeah.
So if this happened at home, he's just right out that window. Like, I got nothing here. I don't care. You can have the couch. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
But he does this first little, and then he, obviously that has him looking at Jenny. He's like, God damn it. And he says, call the police, with authority again. Yeah. And then turns back to the door. And his question is, I'm torn between two, thinking. He would like to know what is the best way through this.
These guys look like they are here for a fight. You should get a weapon.
Okay.
Yep. And then, so Mike, with you outside, you can see these guys there. You have still a question that you can ask me. And these are the... here we go. Armo, there is your observe a situation. What question you got for me? And remember, this is a meta question.
Mm-hmm. So what's the best way through this? He's tempted to see if they haven't seen him go up the
I don't know
escape.
how you want to resolve that. I can't tell. To get through them, I'll tell you that these 4 guys are all bigger than you and seem unlikely to...
Get around them non-violently.
Either that or the Jehovah's Witnesses have gotten a lot more aggressive in their watchtower sales.
The special forces joined
Exactly.
the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Have you heard the good news?
Right.
Huh?
Right.
Yeah, so that's not really I mean, I can't tell you what the best way through this is. It depends on what you want to achieve with that. I can tell you, just like these guys seem spoiling for a fight, and I can tell you they seem very out of place in kind of demi-suburb Detroit. Mm-hmm. What do you do, Mike?
Okay, what can I use my advantage that I've got?
They don't seem to be aware of you. Or they don't seem to have spotted you yet.
In that case, I'm going to take cover behind a snowbank or a car on the street. I don't know if they have on-street parking or not.
Yep.
And I'll quietly draw up a gun and observe and see what's going on.
So you take the pistol out, you draw it, and you get yourself behind. So they... let's do this. You're acting under pressure. Why don't you give us an act under pressure check here?
Right.
I mean, yeah, coolness. I think your burglar thing uses coolness as well too, so it'll be the exact same roll.
Act under pressure. Yeah.
I just want to see if anything comes of this.
Wait.
Nice. Yep. So like this is once again like you are an absolute expert, B&E guy. You really could have had a different career. You sneak over. Your gun is out. And you're even like you're moderating your breathing, so there's not like a big plume of exhalation that's obvious behind a car. So
probably put some snow in my mouth to coke and cool it down.
Okay. You're immediately regretting doing that because Detroit, I think, salts their roads. Kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'm totally kidding. Yeah. So you get down and inside you hear. Thumping on the door, Samuel, and the dog starts barking.
I say to Jenny, you need to get out. Go take the back door, take a window, and he starts walking towards the kitchen.
Okay, give us an influence other check. I'm going to give you +2 to this because of your relationship with Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Influence other. Okay, so she does what you ask, but I choose. She demands better compensation. Complications will arise in future. She gives in for the moment, will change her mind and later and regret it.
There's a classic.
That's awesome. Okay, so she goes.
You made that up. That's not in there. You put that in there. I'm calling you on it.
Love it. DM bullshittery is rampant in this game. I love it.
Right.
All right. So she, spares a moment and then recognizes the look of clarity in your moment and is like, "JV, come!" And the dog dutifully turns and follows her, and she goes racing out towards the back. And you see her grab her jacket as she goes, and you know that she'll like. Her father trained her well. She's going to, or taught her well, not trained. She's not a dog. She's going to, be out and back. And you've got sort of a mental picture what the backyard is like as well. So with that, what are you
going towards the kitchen.
You're going towards the kitchen?
He's going for a butcher knife.
Nice. Okay. So you head over to the kitchen.
His plan is to grab a butcher knife and then hold the door. Try to give her time.
Yep. Okay. So you get that. I love it. Now let me see here. Do we have at least double-sided? Nice. So what I'm laying out for myself, guys, is I am making use of my cult cards. So I got handgun for Mike Anderson and my knife for this.
Nice.
So you make your way over, and it's at that point that you can hear there's a bit of a I think what you hear, Mike, is as you're watching, as the two of them kind of talk back and forth, there's, remember, 4 of them. 2 of them are making their way around, like sort of like going to the side of the house and making their way around towards the back. You got 2 that are left in front. One of them, hauls up, kicks the door, and it slams in. And you can now see that both of them have drawn weapons. And you can hear the door kind of break open. Mike, what do you do next? And for you guys, I think, Sean, you know this already, but Mo, in these ones, we sort of I make a judgment call for who would act next and who we turn the spotlight to. So you may be able to do one thing or a couple of things, and then we'll shift back to Sam. It depends on kind of where the story goes here.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do next? This is obviously breaking and entering. In terms of jurisdiction, the FBI does not have jurisdiction over this kind of shit, but you are law enforcement.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Crime in progress. Right, I'm going to, in my best agent voice, say federal officers. put your guns down now.
Okay. So that is going to be.
So is that charisma based or?
That'll be influence other.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm going to apply a -2 to that because, yeah, this is not. All right. So you start saying that, and then they turn, and one of them brings up his gun and starts firing at you. So I need you to give us an avoid injury check, but I will give you +1 to this because you've got cover.
Avoid harm, I think you mean.
Avoid harm. What did I say?
And with a +1.
Avoid harm with +1. Yes, please. Otherwise, you're taking 2 points of damage.
There we go.
Nice. So you duck down, and the glass shatters on this thing, and you can hear the one shout something in a language you don't understand. Sam, you're inside. You don't recognize it, but it sounds, or at least you don't speak it, I don't think, but it sounds Eastern European. And then one of the guys begins making his way into the house. So Sam, we see you kind of looking at this butcher's block, like a knife block. Mm-hmm. You pull one knife out, and then what do you do?
So hearing the door open, so his original plan was to grab the knife and to hold the door, but since obviously hears the door slam open, and using his he's been over here so much, he thinks about where Jenny probably went.
Yeah.
And he wants to, he chooses between, he could go out there and just take them on. Not great, but it is what it is. Or he could try to make his way to Jenny to try to help her be more close to her. And he decides on that. Hearing the door slam, he was going to do the former, but hearing the door slam open, he decides to do the latter. And using his knowledge of the place, he's going to try to make his way to the back. It's some window that he knows he could jump down or something.
Sure.
I'm thinking that must have been where she went.
So I think that's probably acting under pressure. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Go ahead. And I'll give you +1 to it because you know this place so well.
Cool. Let's see. And then I'll propose Daredevil at this point. Whenever Samuel enters a dangerous situation, add your perception.
Yes, I'd allow that.
Yep. Okay. So it's +3 total. All right.
Okay.
Act under pressure.
Go.
Okay.
Whoa,
all right.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so you do it, but you hesitate, are delayed, or must deal with a complication.
Stuck window?
Here's what happens.
Yeah.
Here's what happens is you start racing your way out. You get down, and I think you maybe kill the lights as well too. Mm-hmm. So you're racing down, and there's a laundry room that you pass as you're going by, and you can see just out of the corner of your eye, there's a guy running around the side of the house, and you're like, "Fuck!" And that gives you enough of a pause you can hear someone, and they say something in a Eastern European language that you don't understand. And they're firing at you now. So I need you to avoid harm for us. I'm going to give you +2 to this because, for one, you're sort of in motion as well, and two, you know the house well enough to know where to dive for cover. So you can avoid harm at +2.
Okay.
So I think that first shot, just put down shrapnel. What they don't hit you, but it hits a door frame that sort of splinters, and that gives you enough incentive to get out of the way of that second shot.
That's a one wound, right?
One harm, yeah, one wound.
Harm, yep.
One wound.
Shrapnel, yep.
Okay.
Cool. Okay.
Mike, what are you doing? You're behind this car. The window's kind of exploded. What do you want to try?
I'm going to shoot the guy that tried to shoot me back.
All right, so you're going to engage in combat. Your gun does 2 harm, or you can. We track guns. Oh, you know what? Did I load? Look at this. Look at this, guys.
Oh, nice.
So you have 4 ammo in your gun. You can use 2 ammo to do overkill, which will have an effective 3. 3 harm on him. You can just shoot him and do 2 harm. If this guy's got like a bulletproof vest or something underneath there, he probably will require, so you understand the mechanics, 3 harm to take down. So what do you think, Mike? You just try and get a clear shot off, using up 1 of your ammo. Do you do overkill and kind of get a couple shots into the guy, use up 2 of your ammo, or there's not really another target visible right now, so what do you think?
Yeah, I think overkill, he's going to do like the 2 to the body, 1 to the head sort of routine.
Yeah, sounds good. Go ahead and give us an engage in combat roll, please.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Come on.
So is there a modifier for the various...
Nope, it's just how much ammo you use up.
Ooh, okay.
Success with complications. So you inflict damage, but at a cost. Subject to counterattack, you do less damage than intended. You lose something important. You expend all your ammo. Beset by a new threat. Oh, I like that. So you get up and you fire at this guy, and it's like 2 shots sort of knock him back, and then 1 catches him in the head, and he just falls into the open doorway. But then you hear a katook as the door opens from the vehicle to your left, and another guy steps out, and he's pulling out what looks like a submachine gun. Now let me get my submachine gun. That's an assault rifle. You don't want that. Let's hear. Ooh, combat shotgun? Submachine gun. Here we go. All right. So then, let's stay with you for a moment here. This guy is getting out of the vehicle. He's still only coming out, so I need you to give us another avoid harm. I'm going to give you +2 to this time. 1 for your cover, 1 because this guy's sort of like is acting slow, but this is going to be a painful one.
So 2.
So 2, yeah, +2 for your avoid harm. Nice.
So effectively I'm trying to scoot, so I'll make sure I've got cover from him as well.
Yeah, so like shit. You run in, sort of in the front of like to the front of the car, and he fires at you. Once again, like bullets are ricocheting around you. Then let's see here. You avoid the worst of it. Begin in a bad spot. You lose something. You're you know what, in your scramble to get over, you were sort of trying to get your other clip out, shit, and it just went skittering around. So it's your clip is somewhere like down a drain. You have your 2 ammo left in your gun. That's everything you've got right now. So you're like, you better make it count. Sam, let's cut back inside to you. What are you doing? Yep. There's a guy who just shot at you. You duck for cover. You could continue on. You were successful in your act under pressure, so you could still race outside if you like.
I am. Yeah, I'm gonna race outside.
Okay, so you're racing outside. You can see that the gate is open where Jenny has gone running, and you can hear, you know, a little ways into the alleyway, you can hear JP barking, but you can see like motion out of the corner of your eye, and that guy that was racing around the side is sort of running past the side of the house and towards the gate. You would have time to intercept him if you like, or you could do something else.
Yeah, he's gonna do his best in the dark of night to try to since that guy seems to be focused on his quarry, he's going to try to come in from his behind,
Yep.
Whatever he can do.
Absolutely. I'll give you a +1 to engage in combat if that's what you're planning.
Yep.
And then, so here's what your attacks can be. Cut, slice, stab, which will do 2 harm to the guy. Or you can put edge of the throat. Does no damage, but you are in control of the target until they break free.
Too many of them. I'm going for that. He's.
Yep. Go right ahead.
Alrighty then. Let's see. Just checking what I've got here since this is my first combat. Don't think anything's going to. I don't think anything really applies.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Engaging combat. Here it comes. And no modifiers, right?
No +1.
Okay.
Look at that.
Wow.
Nat 20. Beautiful.
The double. You know, he's defending Jenny. So
hey, is it including your? It is including your wound penalty, right?
Oh, I think it is.
Plus minus one.
It must be.
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, good news.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I was convinced it wasn't doing that.
No,
so
I thought it wasn't before.
Oh, you know what? I don't think. You know what? It seems to be including the wounds, but not the stability. Because when I rolled Keep It Together before, I'm pretty sure it did not include my -1.
Okay, got it. Okay, so you leap down onto this guy. What do we see is you're not going to quite take him down, but he's very badly hurt already.
You know, I think he let's see. So this is showing that, you know, Samuels is two people and his other one is in control, in essence, you know, not quite schizophrenic level, but, you know, he's like defending Jenny and this guy's going for her in the night. Like, it's a no brainer. Like, this is just, you know, he wants to take this guy out. He wants to kill him for sure. And so his old instincts kick in. He's a trained agent, you know, he's a mess, but, you know, he's much better than the accountant next door. And, you know, so he leaps on this guy and just buries this thing in this guy.
It's right in his back, and he kind of he cries out in with an accented English, and then you sort of fall to the ground. The two of you. He drops his gun that he was carrying with you. It's a handgun, and you sort of trying to stab and get into some areas, and you can see that there's a second guy that's come running out into the yard as well too, and he kind of looks over at you like, and I think what I'm going to get you to do is act under pressure to act before these guys.
Okay.
Let's see if you can react, because they're both surprised, and you're sort of amped with what do you call it? With adrenaline.
Yes. All right. And I'll mention, you know, this is one of those where it can't apply to everything. So I'll just, you know, where this daredevil thing, you know.
Oh, this isn't the beginning of the scene, so I don't think.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Act under pressure. There it is. Okay. Trouble.
All right. So this guy sees you, and then he's going to try and shoot at you. Why don't you give us an avoid harm check?
Okay.
Avoid getting shot.
Did we go down in a heap? Are we prone? Is there any modifier?
Yeah,
possible?
you're sort of, no modifiers like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, nice.
Okay.
So you scramble
I don't
up.
need no stinking modifier.
That's amazing. He fires at you and you scramble out of the way.
Yeah.
So he does not hit you. What would you like to do next? We'll give you one more kind of pass or one more move, and then we'll turn back to Mike.
You know, he's not going to turn down that gun. You know, he brought a knife to a gunfight. So, you know, in fact, I think that rings in his head. Like, you know, it's the oldest agent joke in the book. It's, you know, it's one of those way overused. No one even says it. Like, don't even say it. You know, did you bring a knife to a gunfight? But that rings in his head. And he with his empty hand, he grabs the gun.
Yeah, well, that knife I think you left in the other guy's
that's true.
back, right?
Right.
So you run over and grab the gun. I think I'll give you a -1 because you're sort of like having to like scramble over, get the gun, and try and get the shot off while you're avoiding the other.
Yeah.
So give us now your options are again to use up 1 ammo to do 2 damage, which may not take this guy down, or overkill to use half the ammo, and then that'll if it hits, that'll be sufficient to take him down.
Yeah, I think he's, you know, his adrenaline. You know, this is one of those reasons you keep your finger out of the trigger box unless you really want to use it, because you'd probably pull the trigger no matter what.
Okay.
Like at this point, that trigger's getting pulled.
Okay.
So he goes for the kill.
Overkill. Okay. Give us an engage in combat at -1, please.
All right. All right, I'll take it.
Excellent.
I'll take that.
Success with complications. So, just like the others, it's like 2 shots that knock this guy back, and then a third that hits him right in the dome. And he drops down. But the complication is then the guy you've stabbed a couple of times suddenly he's right up on you with, you know, grappling with your arms, so you can't get the gun on him. And the complication is you're not going to be able to, unless you free yourself from him, you're not going to be able to use the gun on him.
Okay.
Okay. So we cut over to Mike. You know, there's this person who's sort of still firing, short bursts. Go! And you're behind this car. What are you doing?
There's no analog to aiming, is there, on this one?
Nope.
Take an action. No, I'm going to just engage in combat from cover.
Okay, so here's the thing, Mo, is that if you describe what you're doing, you may be able to. I may grant some bonuses if you happen to, describe it in such a way that would give some kind of advantage.
Right. So I scooted around, so I've got cover.
May I give an example that's just stolen from a zillion movies? Drop to the ground, look for the leg, one shot in the leg, and then a tap in the head.
So I'm at the back, so I'll just look down.
Okay.
And see if I can see any shiny.
Sure. So you sort of slam down to the ground. I'll give you a +1 on your engage in combat for this. And
so this is combat shooting.
So you could do combat shooting, which is 2 points of damage, which won't take the guy down, or you can do overkill, use up all your ammo, and that would kill him if you hit.
No, combat shooting, because I know there's another active person up there.
They're inside the house right now.
Oh, in that case, combat. I will do overkill and just try and take him out.
Go right ahead.
So that is a total modifier of.
Total modifier is +1.
Oh, sorry, yeah, that's the ammo, isn't it?
Yeah, the modifier is +1. Nice.
And
okay.
He's sort of thinking, I wish I'd taken my backup gun with me, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so complete successes here. Okay, so you know what the trouble is turn your you don't have all your wounds reopened, but dropping to the ground like that, take off the stabilized for your injured shoulder.
Yeah.
So like, fuck. Oh yeah, it cost you, but yeah, cool. It's one shot, clips through this guy's ankle, and he's drops to the ground, and then it's 2 more shots in his basically right in his face, and he's not getting up again. What do you do next, Mike? You're out of ammo.
I'm going to scoot around the car.
Okay.
Roadie running, effectively trying to reduce target and get to him, and just see if there's any. If he's got a gun or the submachine's still got.
I think he's got a sidearm in addition to this thing too, so you can kind of clip it, pull the gun out.
Yeah. Well, I'll take his gun and the submachine gun.
Okay. So I mean Sure. Okay. So you take both. The submachine gun. I think you're going to need to reload that one though. So we'll say that's what you're doing right now. Is you're grabbing in this scene. You're grabbing 1 or 2 clips. You got the gun stuffed in the back, and then what are you doing? You can hear gunshots coming from inside the house.
Right. What I have in my sort of
Mo, just make a decision. Come on, let's go.
Right. I'll cautiously go towards the door and see if I can turn the lights on.
Okay, so you start making your way across the street towards the house. Outside, Samuel, you're wrestling with this guy who's got your hands in a kind of in a clasp. You can see the knife sticking out from the back of his shoulder blades too. What are you doing?
So he's going to keep a solid hand, his gun hand, to not lose control of it.
Yep.
But he takes the other hand and he goes for that knife to twist it as much as possible. So he's going to use that as a leverage device, a pain leverage device on this guy.
Okay. So that'll be unarmed. Unarmed has a bunch of interesting options in it as well.
Cool.
It is. So you can just do one point of harm. You can do lock, which is you're in control of the target until they break free. Shift, you create distance between yourself and the target through a throw, body check, or push. Disarm, you remove an object from your opponent's hand. Or excessive force, 2 points damage, focus entirely on killing your target, disregarding your own safety. Now I think actually what you might need to do is break free then first.
Okay.
So I think this will be an act under pressure check.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so why don't you give us a act under pressure move here?
All right.
Fuck, this guy's strong.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get yourself free to do that. I need you to avoid harm now. He's trying to twist your hand to get you to drop the gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I mean I can't get that knife. I'm reaching for that handle on his back, and it's.
I think he's
me.
got hands on both of your hands right now.
Right.
Because you had good, gun discipline. You had both hands on the gun. He grabbed them both, and it's like, this guy is so much stronger than you.
Act under pressure, right?
No, I think avoid harm at this point.
Avoid harm.
Yeah, because you were unsuccessful in acting under pressure.
Yeah.
I'm taking a move where I'm trying to disarm you now.
Trouble.
Oh shit! So he honestly, the years or months and months that you've been spending, getting yourself out of, into the bad shape that you're in.
On the couch.
Sort of, you twist your hand, and you're just like, and you feel like a kid in an adult's hands, right? The gun drops to the ground, and then he shoves you. I'm gonna do a move. He shoves you. You sort of pinwheel back. He reaches down. He has the gun now. What are you doing?
I think our, his training is that he's still too close. He needs to close distance. There's no running away, just makes him a perfect target. So he's going to hurl himself at the guy.
Okay. Why don't you give us an avoid harm as you're trying to get in there? Do you have any tricks to pull here?
Let's see here. Oh, man, could be the time. Let's momentarily at least explore contagious insanity.
That's one of your soul advantages, right?
Yes.
Now let's see what that does here. Okay.
Page 113.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, 113. One thing I'll say, I love the look of this rule book.
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. Okay, contagious insanity. Yeah, let's do it. So that's a soul check. So maybe like the feeling of humiliation that you experienced here. There's just a moment where like your eyes sort of black over.
Yep. And failing Jenny. If I go down, she goes down. And his mind's just a confused, between two worlds, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And let's see.
Give us a soul check then, please.
Okay, soul check. So let's see. But I'm not specifically seeing through the illusion, so I should just roll 2d10, right?
You can just click on that. We'll use that as the result.
Okay.
It's the same, numbers that we're using for tracking failure and whatnot. We'll just compare. Okay.
All right. I'll take it.
Okay, so you choose one option from it.
Okay.
Oh, hold on, that's artifact I'm looking at. Choose one option from Contagious Insanity. Afflict your victim with temporary psychosis in which they're haunted by their fears. Trigger a disadvantage within another person that's only PCs. Affect an additional victim. Or call for creatures of madness to haunt the infected. What do you think?
Let's see here. I think he probably. So I hurl myself at him, and though it probably, he's a big dude and I'm injured, so that doesn't necessarily offer so much. But he looks at me and he sees in my eyes. He sees something in my eyes. So he sees something about himself. Like what?
I think,
something.
May I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
For this, because I've got a way of sort of resolving the scene for you. Is you hit the ground, right, and you look up, and your eyes. What do we? I said blacked over, but what do you think? Like, what is it? What's the sign of madness that we see here?
That my eyes aren't there. They're windows. So that he's in two worlds.
Oh, that's creepy as fuck. Yeah. So like they're gone. There's hollow, blood, and you look up at him, and in anguish and in frustration and in the possibility of failing Joseph, you just scream out, and he sort of staggers back in fear. He stumbles on a rake that Jenny forgot to put away in the snow. He trips and falls, and then that dagger or the knife that he had left in him gets pushed right through. He's on the ground. Snow is falling down as blood is beginning to pool on that black jacket of his. And then you sort of catch yourself and where's Jenny? Mike, you've made your way up the front stairs to the open door of the residence. On your right, there's a living room that seems to be open, and there's a hallway that leads seemingly to the back of the door. You can see that there's signs of gunfire in here. Like one of the walls has been sort of blown apart by a bullet hitting. What do you do?
Right, so mic's okay. No, the microphone.
Oh, microphone's okay. Yes, you're saying declaring yourself okay. Yes, you are.
I thought that too.
He's going to. So in terms of guns, is this an assault rifle or a submachine gun?
This is a submachine gun.
All right, I'll just sling that and pull out the Mook's pistol.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you got the pistol out.
And I will sort of stand into one side of the front door, call out Jenny. This is special agent, FBI special agent. Stay where you are. I'm coming in, and I'll flick the light on.
Okay.
But obviously not presenting a target.
Okay. So the hallway light's already on.
Oh right. In that case, I will go towards the. So which lights did?
So you see there's a hallway leading straight down that has, you can see there's signs of part of the hallway someone's been shooting in here because one of the banisters or the door frames has been blown out. It feels like there's a breeze from the back. And you hear sort of a pop from in the back, gunfire.
All right, I will go towards down the corridor, but I will check the rooms as I go.
Yep. Okay. So you do that standard sort of like careful progress through a room. You're checking. We see you hitting the doors, checking in, and whatnot. You get to the back of the. We cut to sort of the exterior, and we see you. You step out onto sort of the. Because there's a step up, I'm picturing there being a step down into the backyard that Sam has sort of launched himself off onto these guys. Sam, where? I think you hear as you're approaching the back of the house, Mike. You hear this scream, and it's a man, but it sounds like someone in an extraordinary amount of pain. So much so that you sort of you find yourself pausing for a moment, and you have to steel yourself to finally go out. And what you can see, sort of on all fours, panting, is Samuel, this rough-looking man who's dressed in a suit with a big puffy. Actually, I don't think you even put your jacket back on, right?
No.
So he's sitting in a suit, and he looks up at you, and you guys make eye contact with one another, and you both have known each other from before. So what happens next, guys?
I'll sort of fist bump. Where's Jenny?
So you come down the stairs. Sam's, you come over. Well, I mean, he doesn't look like he's in the fist bumping mood. He looks like he's been through hell, and there's some blood on his face where the shrapnel from where the gun hit or the shot hit.
And Samuel looks confused because he's not sure what just happened. Like he was doing terribly at the moment. I mean, right at the end, and then all of a sudden the other guy's dead. And he's like, "Wait, what?"
There's two bodies back here as well too, Mike, that you can see.
He looks at you, Mike.
My influence other to try and snap him out of it and say, because obviously finding Jenny is the next thing. So I'll just sort of try and encourage him, say, "Good job, let's find Jenny." And try and snap him back into the old age.
You do sort of a wait a minute, 1, 2. There's a guy who shot at you from inside the house. Mike, you didn't see anyone else inside the house when you made your way towards the back.
So there's a guy unaccounted for that was in the house. He agrees with Mike says where's Jenny, and he agrees. I mean, and particularly because of his who he was before. He's not going to do that thing that drives everyone crazy in horror movies. He's going to get the gun. He's not going to pass up on that.
Okay.
Get the gun! Don't run away without the gun!
Okay, so you reach over and you grab the gun?
Grab the gun, and says, and he looks towards the building hesitantly, but because of the unaccounted for guy, and scans, but says, yeah, Jenny, and wants to go running after her.
Okay. So why don't we do this, guys? Which of you is going to roll act under pressure for us?
I think you, Mike, you probably have it just in the story-wise, you probably have it slightly. He's Samuel's getting himself together after this whole thing. So why don't you do it?
So
act under pressure to sort of effectively
catch up to
Jenny or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
So and give yourself a -1 to that from your wound. I'm not sure if it'll count properly or not. If it does, we'll adjust it afterwards. But fantastic. So you're running along. Let's see here. Yeah, and it did the minus. Yeah, it did not include your wound for some reason. But we did the -1. Well, you put in a -1, didn't you?
Yeah. So there's so it's
so
not
it's not tracking the wounds properly for some reason. But that doesn't matter. Okay, so you go racing along, and where I think there's a neighbor, like the long-standing sort of, if you have a problem, you go to so-and-so's house, So you guys make your way down there, and you can see that there are lights on in this house that's about a block and a half away. And as you guys approach, you see the lights are on in this house as well too. It's probably a similar brownstone, but it's Jenny has had the wherewithal to close the gate behind her, or perhaps someone else did. So what do you guys do? Sam, from past experience, this is where she would be, and you can see on the footsteps in the ground, hers in the fresh snow. Her and JP, they lead here.
I think she's in there.
Okay.
Why don't And he looks behind. He's looking behind the two for pursuit, and he says,
So you look behind, and I would like you to give us a keep it together roll, please.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Just Samuel?
No, just Samuel. Yeah. Or yes, just Samuel. Sorry, Mo.
And I'm going to put a same as what you guys just did. I'm going to put a -1 for my disadvantage.
Yep.
And if it doubles, let's see here. Keep it together. Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So with one complication, you become scared because you look back and you can picture it's pitch black. The only thing that's sort of illuminating this back alley are those like lights that are on telephone poles, right? They're kind of like cupped in a little saucer with a light that sort of is focused down. You can see the distinctive silhouette standing underneath one of them, Sam. A doughboy with a rifle slung over his shoulder. About maybe a block and a half, maybe about a block down. You can't make out any features or whatnot. You can just see the silhouette. And it stands there for a moment. Fear just sort of grips you in your stomach. What do we see as this fear kind of grips you?
I think that it's a little overwhelming because there's already these thugs. There's just like way too many of them, and now this. Like he's like, he says, it can't be, and he changes his. He's going to run. I mean, he wants to run towards Jenny.
Okay, so you, Mike, Sam has said that he's there. He suddenly pushes past you and is kind of like throwing the gate open. You spare a look around. There's nothing here. I don't know. You don't know what he's freaking out about, but what do you do?
Well, I think this is Samuel. So he's maybe going to cover the rear and then go up to the door of this house.
Okay.
And he's probably going to say, FBI Special Agent Mike, is Jenny there?
Special Agent Mike.
Sorry, Anderson.
There you go.
All right, so you You hear the sound of shock of something being thrown, and the door opens up, and both of you guys see Jenny there with JP, kind of barking, and then when he sees you, Sam stops barking. And there's the neighbor. Jenny says, "Get inside. Get inside. We've called the police."
Okay.
Yep, he goes in.
So as soon as you walk in, Jenny kind of looks like, "Are you? What happened?"
Those thugs. As long as you're okay.
So I think, Sam, we'll end our session and our scene with you sort of like pushing past them into the kitchen, and you push the lace curtains in the kitchen to look out in the backyard, and you can see over the. This is not like that neighborhood that you were in before, where it's chain link fences, little low chain link fences. This is proper fencing, solid wood, but you can see over the top of the fence. The helmet walk past and then disappear. And as it moves from view, you realize that Jenny has been trying to get your attention probably for a minute or so now. Uncle Sam! Uncle Sam!
And he gives her a hug.
Okay. So we end with you hugging her. Your eyes are squeezed shut. Mike, you maybe do you borrow the phone from this lady because your phone wasn't working? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to call it in to our people as well as the local cops.
Okay.
So I'll call the duty officer.
Sure. And that is where we will end this session. So
cool.
For those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for our return to Kult. It's the first time we've, I think, played a proper Kult session set in the world of Kult. So as is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the game, or the campaign we're playing, please do not hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. In addition, you can find a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server. We have channels dedicated to most of the games we run on the channel, as well as channels dedicated to a bunch of other stuff as well, for selecting between virtual tabletops, setting up streaming things, online conventions, and otherwise, finding a group, lots of great people, lots of great conversations, so you are more than welcome to join us over there. We are still having a difficulty with our the donation system for the Heroes Save Villages campaign that we run on the channel. It's the charity initiative that benefits SOS Children's Villages International, a really terrific organization that active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. I hope to have that sorted out today, so we can have our donation links open and people can make donations to Heroes Save Villages and to go to SOS Children's Villages International. All donations go directly to them. None of it goes to the channel. None of it goes to any other middleman. All of it goes directly to those kids who benefit from SOS Children's Villages International. Now, guys, before we end our session, we do need to do one bit of cleanup. It's a little bit of old school stuff, awarding XP at the end of the session. So because you guys, I see that both of you have visited... your two things, Mo, were to visit Samuel, which you've done now, inadvertently, and investigate the box, which you did do. Yours, Samuel, were to investigate Madame Yoseveski and to visit Jenny. Both of those were done, so you guys can each put down 2 points of XP each.
Nice.
In addition, have you discovered anything new about the truth?
I think so. I mean, he had his vision, so
I agree with that. So that's a yes. So 1 more XP for each of you. Have you learned anything new about your characters?
I think so, probably. Same for the reason because of the vision. It's regarding him and apparently some connection to the beginning of World War One. It's he doesn't understand it, but he learned something. Yeah.
So that's what I definitely agree. We also learned this is your relationship with Jenny, your relationship with I definitely think that. And Mike, I think we saw a little bit more about the kind of meager living that he's got with his kind of beater car and whatnot. So I'll give you an XP for that. Have we challenged ourselves?
Well, I imagine this might have been his sort of hasn't been in that many firefights. I mean, this is like full auto firefights. You know, he's a desk guy, really. He doesn't, you know, it's not like on the telly where you're jumping over the bonnets and shooting people every day.
Ran off the road earlier too. Like, it's right. Yep, I 100% agree with that. And Samuel, I think by facing up with Jenny, I think it is a more personal challenge. But I think, you know, that moment where he stopped there and you described how he was getting that to the same street, like that's a big enough thing for him. I totally agree with that. So that means each of you guys gained 5 XP.
Nice. Cool.
Which means you may choose an advancement. You guys can, one of your active attributes can get a +1 up to a maximum of +3. One of your passive attributes gets a +1 up to a maximum of +3. You can, one of your attributes can be increased to 4 at this stage, but once you select that, you cannot select it again. And you also may select a new advantage from your archetype. And that is on page 137. I'll let you guys make those decisions. And then what we also end with is, what is a dramatic hook? So, Mo, what's a dramatic hook that you would like Sam to explore next time? And Sean, what's a dramatic hook that you'd like Mike to explore next time? And again, those are finish, reveal, tell, visit, complete, confront, investigate, or develop. Either of you guys can feel free to go first if you...
I think I would like Mike, as the respectable one who's still in the bureau, to investigate who the hell those guys are.
Okay. So investigate the attackers.
Yep.
Okay. So then what we do, Mo, is next session, you would, if you investigate the attackers and we have a scene where that happens, you would get an XP for that at the end of the session. And then, Mo, what do you think? What's something that you would like Samuel to do? What's a dramatic hook? He should, again, finish, reveal, tell, visit, complete, confront, investigate, or develop.
He's probably interested in, like, revealing what happened when he
and this is again
in...
not your character, Sam's character.
No.
Well, yep.
To get him to say, well, what really happened? What happened after you appeared in Sarajevo? Because this is Eastern European. I wonder if the two are
what happened after? That's interesting. Yeah, because he would remember being there. That's cool. Reveal.
Yeah, it's Eastern European, and maybe the two are connected.
What happened?
I mean, because he couldn't really say about the Brody helmet guy. Because he just thinks DT, he had a bit too much to drink.
What's the question exactly again? What would it be?
Reveal what happened after you arrived in Sarajevo.
Okay.
So this would just
thinking, like, well, maybe Eastern European goons.
Well, so here's the thing. So you know, Mo, it doesn't mean that Sam would reveal to you your character. It means that we may get a scene where we see what happened to Sam. In that, so we as the
sort of thing,
this is like one of the ways where these games really differ from traditional games is that we play to find out. Right, so like that's a really interesting way of proposing, like, hey, let's hear a little more about this backstory stuff, which means we're probably gonna have a scene of Sam recovering in
it would sort of be like a flashback scene.
Exactly.
If it was,
and then what we might do is we might prompt you to play an NPC in that scene. We may introduce somebody as someone for you to play, but depending on how much how much time we want to spend with it. But it's a very interesting thing. And then again, like in terms of the prompts, you guys can choose to ignore those and not have that happen next time. It just means you don't get the XP for it.
Yep. Cool.
So cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, so then for those listening at home, once again, thank you so much for joining us. We hope that we gave you a few hours in the broken illusion that is our world, or the world of Kult Divinity Lost. Take your mind off of the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our cult heroes have found themselves in. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.